Hello and welcome back to the LCS and the LCS waiting room. Getting a look at Maple and the rest of TSM making their way into the arena today. Golden Guardians as well, Stixxay and Olleh. We're joined by Phreak in the waiting room today.
That's true.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. It was cool to see the Golden Guardians bot lane, who felt like the only two who wanted to win that previous game they played. So, you know, cool to see. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, one thing that's interesting is there are so many teams who are trying at the very end. Like, yes, 8 teams make playoffs, and I think for a lot of people that like makes it interesting, their playoff rush. But we actually have, I think, 9 teams who really want to make the push, right? TSM and Golden Guardians both acquired players in the last 2 weeks. Like,
Right.
They paid extra money while sitting in like 9th to be like, but we want to make the run, right? And it means like you've already got CLG and FLICKR who are actually doing pretty well, punching above their weight, whatnot. But even the teams who aren't doing so well, most of them are like, no, we're gonna spend extra and really try to make the push. So like, it's actually a pretty cool split.
It was a very cool split, and exactly, I think it's a good point that while there's a couple teams that have actually already locked playoffs, and we'll talk about that a bit later on, there is still very much to be determined when it comes to the postseason, and there is a fairly tight race, both for making it in, as well as kind of for seeding, important seeding at the end of the split. I want to dive straight in, though. We're going to start with something a little fun.
Oh, boy.
Like we always try to do. Social called out. I can't tell if Azir is the manager disciplining the unprofessional employee Captain Flowers or if he's overdressed for Captain Flowers' party. So I wanted to determine which of the two situations we're witnessing.
I hope he's not the manager because his shirt's not tucked in. You know, he's looking a little sloppy. So that's not.
That's
the
why I
example
was
you want
thinking.
to set.
That's why I was thinking overdressed for the party, because that was his fix. I like to believe he came fully tucked in and realized
And then
he
he's
was
like,
way
oh, no.
overdressed. So how can I, bring the casualness in? He untucked.
I think this caption should be titled Junior Programmer, Senior Programmer. Right? When you first show
Actually,
up,
that is
show up, it's like, oh, I've got everything right.
Yeah.
And then here's Flowers like, I've done 12 years C++. You can't fire me. I'm way too valuable. Like, Hawaiian shirt, whatever.
Phreak got it.
Alternatively, this just makes Captain Flowers the main character, right?
Yeah.
Because he has the flashier outfit. Like, whenever you're looking at, because we
The
did
thing
Star
he didn't
Guardian.
want to be
Yeah, true.
was the main character in the anime,
Yeah.
and he ended up.
Yeah,
being it.
because we did Star Guardian, but we were all dressed as like either pre-transformation or just mooks in the background that get murdered.
I was just straight up in Gryffindor, by the way. Like, I was clearly also a main character. Like, I caught the snitch, all that.
Gotta love it. Gotta love
It's
it.
Not
All
an
right.
anime freak.
Yeah, but I was also dressed straight out of Hogwarts.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Now that that's out of the way, we're gonna move on to a little something else. So I'm gonna jump up here to the telestrator. We're gonna play a game. It's called Hot and Cold.
Okay.
You're right. I did walk. I didn't jump my whole way
knew
over
you'd be
here.
antic, Dad.
That would have been
wow.
fun. It's a pretty simple game. Basically, I asked all 3 of the analysts to come prepared today with a few takes of varying degrees, and we'll go one at a time. You'll present your take, and the other 3 people will determine on a scale of spiciness and heat, all the way from Raz eating a hot habanero to myself in the ice bath yesterday. How hot or cold is this take?
I just have to say that starting out,
By the way,
Yeah,
I realized
that's
yesterday we
intense.
never explained the swim trunks I was wearing. We just accepted it as like a thing.
was
that
there
I
an
would use.
explanation?
Yeah, they bought that for me. It's like an old-timey swimsuit. I brought my own stuff yesterday, and they're like, "No, you're gonna wear this instead."
My biggest concern watching this was all the electronics around.
That was also all of their concerns.
Yeah, all like 20 people behind the cameras were like, "No, Dash!"
As soon as the cameras cut away, I'm like, "Is everything okay? I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't ruin anything. Please don't fire me." Okay, let's get into some takes. Mark, I believe you're gonna be first. Is that correct?
Yeah,
no,
it looks
the
like it.
icon.
Mark's first, so I'm gonna choose
Wow.
Mark's icon here, and we'll
just
put his
noticed.
face.
Old man freak.
Yeah, it's good. The hairline's about right.
All right, Mark, what's your first take?
My first take is that Kate Bush song is super overrated, and I'm sick of hearing it.
What?
You know what song? You know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
running up the
Stranger
Is that a
Things?
joke?
No,
I
I'm
prefer
so sick of it.
Placebo's
So-
version personally, but
First of all, Kate Bush has a lot of amazing songs, so just saying that Kate Bush song
Everyone
is
knows
already.
Let Hill
It's
deal with
all
God.
over.
That's already a
Everyone
pretty big,
knows.
If I only could
I take that
deal
as a
with
slight
God
already.
and get them in the swamp of places. Be running up that
I
hill.
hate
It's a
it.
brilliant
Be
song.
running up
so
that
sick
road.
of it.
Okay, stop singing before we get copyright strikes. Okay,
He's not that
You can
accurate,
only
don't
do
worry.
like 10,
That was
only
not on
10
note.
seconds or something.
All right, I'm
Okay.
just saying it's all like ever since it came out first in Stranger Things, where I was like, oh yeah, like cool throwback, whatever, and then it's just taken over the internet, the airwaves, it's everywhere, and it's like I just don't even like the song that much to begin with. And
Okay,
then
let's
jammed
let's
down my
evaluate
throat.
the spiciness of this take.
I feel like it's not a very spicy take,
You
despite
don't
the fact
think it
that
is?
I personally disagree with it.
Well, but see,
Because
that's why I think it is spicy.
Whenever something becomes like super popular, there's always literally
There's
this
always a
take
Mark
about
Z.
it.
Contrarian, yeah.
Right.
And,
Oh,
and
okay.
then that gets like, I don't know, as
But I
someone
still-
who was
okay.
that person, especially when I was younger, who's like, ew, popular music is bleh. Like, whenever something became popular,
All right.
I feel like this is a very lukewarm to cold take.
So let's determine this. Is it on this half or this half? I'm
Right
still
side.
tempted to say it's on the lukewarm, but you're saying Luke cold.
Yeah. The next superhero from Marvel.
Luke Cold and Luke. So you're going Luke Cold and you're also going Luke Cold?
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
then that's fair. So we're gonna put Mark right
I think it's funny
here.
that everyone disagreed
Does
with
feel-
me and
does-
yet said that it was cold take.
So that's our
Well,
Mark,
I personally
Dr. Mark.
disagree because I personally liked that song before it was in there.
Me too.
One of my friends made me a mixtape and that was on it.
That's awesome.
That song.
You might
Yeah,
want to make
right.
shorter.
And if you
notes.
if you know what it is, you know. All right. Next up, Mark. What's your next take?
Second take is FLICKR will be the third team at Worlds.
Okay, and actually the LCS related
Ooh.
take. Thank you very much. They will be the third team at Worlds. What do you think, Phreak?
that's like a 0.1 out
Yeah.
of 10. Like that's almost directly on fire.
Wait, you
like-
think that's super spicy as a take?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's
And
over
here's, like,
Team
I'm the
Liquid and
same
Cloud9.
take as you
I saw
later,
yours, yeah.
And I realized like, wait, this is actually horrible.
Yours
take.
is hotter than mine, though.
Okay, fine.
I think you're right that his is hotter.
Okay, so then you want to give a little room for
Sure.
some extra
Under
spice
Raz's
here?
left elbow.
Okay, underneath Raz's left elbow, there's another
I
Mark,
can't
and
believe
this
I'm agreeing
is.
this much with Phreak. Usually we disagree
That's true.
with
But we're also
everything.
both smart.
It's
Okay.
concerning that you're agreeing with him.
It is. I'm
Well, I'm having a
a
good
little
day.
Okay,
concerned about myself.
So fly third. The only thing I want to talk about here, though, is like, so then, do you just think they finish fourth, fifth, sixth? Like,
I'm going
how much
5-6.
further? 5-6, you
going
think finish?
5-6, yeah.
So you agree as well?
No, I put
He
them
put them third.
But but you thought it was spicy, so I
think
thought
it's
that meant
spicy.
you didn't actually
Well,
believe
I think
it.
it's spicy because like people assume, okay, 100 Thieves, EG feel
Right.
pretty locked in. The third seed, probably between TL and C9, is I think where the community's general
Yeah.
consensus debate. And to insert a fifth team into the conversation,
That's ridiculous.
I think a lot of people aren't
Yeah.
prepared for that. But
Yeah,
I think
fair enough.
FlyQuest has beaten 100 Thieves. They beat
All right.
C9. They had a good lead versus C9 yesterday, even though they inted it really hard at Rift. But you know,
did.
we've seen even EG do that.
All right, pretty good spread then. You're indexing a little bit into the heat here, which I like. So what's your third take, and is it spicy?
Worlds will be fun is my third take.
That is
Okay,
such
there
a
it
cold
is, right
take.
My
there.
goal was
It's
to
gonna be
find
fun.
a
Get
hot
outta
take
here.
and a cold take. I want to be the
Get outta
coldest
here.
take and the hottest take. I missed
Yeah.
the hottest though.
Fun.
Fun. is
Great.
good.
Okay,
That is
moving on. We're done with Mark, and we're moving on to old man Phreak. No, we're
problem
moving
is
on to
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who don't have memories.
All right. So
Sorry.
this is off of yesterday because I felt like we talked about him a ton last split, and this split we've talked not nearly enough about him, but it is Berserker is still a top 3 ADC in LCS.
Oh man, that's colder than
Yeah.
ice cubes, I think.
Wait,
Yeah.
Can we,
think
can we like
that's
stretch
cold?
this graphic?
You think that's cold?
I think that's minorly warmer than mine.
Okay, fine. I mean,
Right.
It's an incredibly cold take. I just want an excuse to talk about him because I feel like
let's talk about him.
we never talked about him that much because we talked a lot about Sven role swap. We've talked a lot about topside with Fudge. We've talked a lot about the fact that the team has had really individual standout moments, but has had trouble getting it together like consistently. But we haven't really talked about how good Berserker is, and he's still really freaking good.
I don't disagree that maybe he's been underserved in narrative, but I don't think the take is spicy.
No, I think the take, all of my takes are
Yeah,
terrible.
no, which
by
is
the way.
fine.
Yeah, so I'm
which
just
is fine.
saying, like,
you
you're
think it's a
not
little,
wrong, but-
it's obviously spicier than Worlds will be fun. But we do know that he's good, and I think that's inarguable. Maybe you'd argue about the place. Is
Okay.
he third, second, fourth? You know, like that.
I'd asterisk. If you're a G2 fan, Worlds is you're not even gonna watch it. You know, like
This is
you know,
the
for
LCS
some
Phreak.
people. I'm just saying, there
I'm
are
gonna
G2
go
fans watching
right
right,
about
now.
here.
I see you, and your team sucks.
There's some people who won't.
I'm gonna go right about there.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go blue here on this one. Actually, I don't know if that's gonna show up super. Oh, it does.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And then this is Berserker.
Yeah, I don't know. That comes up at all on the screen.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna.
I like how you're writing
It's
half into
better than
purple
the
now.
dark
Whatever.
Really not legible.
I'm doing way better than Jatt did with the writing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to
Oh,
admit,
yeah. Oh,
okay?
yeah.
You're at least
Don't give me
spelling
that face.
You're spelling things right. I'll give you that.
But how else would we have gotten to the Evan line?
The Evan
You know what I'm
line.
talking
Evan
about?
line.
Okay, Emily, take number 2. What
All
do you
right, COG will finish top 5 in the regular season.
got? Okay, that's spicier than the first take.
It basically means that you think they place above FlyQuest, which I know Mark no longer agrees with. So I'm fully on board, by the way. I have a much worse, much hotter take than that. So I have to go very like Ice Cube for you.
Right, but EG 100 Thieves, TLC9,
But on the scale,
right?
this is going to be really hot.
So,
I would say hers is in the middle for this, yeah.
I would argue it's just over 50% because I think conventional wisdom would say they're 6th. So she's taking that little bit of risk in saying 5th, right?
Sure.
So like we're talking like there.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fine.
Mark, you don't seem satisfied.
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
I'm fine with it.
I'm just saying, speak up, my friend.
I was just
CLG
yeah.
5th.
They got to overperform a little.
All right.
They're not there
All
yet.
right.
Final take.
So my final take is in an inverse of their spring split, where they started off really, really well in the regular season and then bombed out in playoffs, C9 will ramp up during playoffs. So regardless of whether where they finish in the regular season, I think they're going to have a nice ramp up through the best of 5s.
I think this is colder than my Kate Bush take, because
Oh, I was gonna say I came out and I was like, I have no hot take.
Well, so here's the thing. I think it becomes spicier the more specificity we demand of the take, right? Because if it's like, so if they're going to ramp up, if you told me they ramped up to 3rd, right? Saying like, then if you gave me a position,
yeah, but
but you didn't.
That.
Just
yeah.
the fact that they will. So it's
I'm
literally
hedging my
just the
bets.
take that they will perform better in the difference, which I think we all agree with. Is that really colder than Kate Bush? I didn't think
No,
there was
Kate Bush is right there. That,
Oh, sorry.
That's
Okay.
the
That
World
song.
Fun one.
You're right, right.
World is fun is our
Is it
default
colder than fun?
freezing.
No,
It's not colder
I think
than fun.
it's
I
right
think-
around the Berserker take.
I mean, I would go left of that personally. I'd go right around there-ish.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, a little.
Yeah. I would go like a there-ish, like.
Boom.
Because it's not guaranteed that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
they're already 7-2 on this roster. I don't think they're suddenly the first best team in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's 7-2 on the roster because they lost to the first
Yeah.
of the games. So then this roster they're like 2 losses. It's like so they're the 3rd best team by win rate.
But
Okay.
there's that.
Yeah, that's where they are, right? Like.
So there's that, but there's also a lot of the games they've won they haven't looked great on. So I do think
Yeah.
there is still a ramp-up period. But that's also, I think, the general sentiment right now is a lot of people are saying, like, this is not peak C9. We expect them to continue getting better. So
Right.
it's kind of rowing with the stream.
I'm just glad I stayed true to my brand, which is incredibly lukewarm and cold takes.
Mm-hmm.
Like if anyone watches me when I happen to get on Kelsey's stream for LPL co-stream, this is what I'm known for.
This is what
When
we can
people
this is what we
say,
can
like,
expect.
Incredibly boring.
When people say
Ass
cold-blooded, this is not usually what they mean. Emily's cold-blooded.
She basks in the sun to warm up for the morning, you know?
All right,
Lies
all
on a
right.
flat rock.
I am boring.
I think we're making good time.
Great.
Phreak, it's time for your takes,
number
my
one,
friend.
just go ahead and click it onto the fire
Yeah?
right there.
You want me to
CLG
free-place?
are going to Worlds.
Whoa!
I said you had to leave some room.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think
so-
there's really no debate about
Good
how,
emote game.
how hot that is. So I'm
Yeah.
going to give you pink
That's
over
great.
here.
That is, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
I'm glad you remembered your takes at this age.
How old are you, Mark? I'm 35. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Okay, CLG going to Worlds.
Yeah. And to be fair, this was like, I got the message like last night at 7 p.m. I sat down after dinner. I'm like, hot take number 1. Yeah, I think CLG's pretty good. And then I thought about it this morning. I'm like, well, 100 Thieves, EG, TL,
Yeah.
which might still bomb, honestly.
C9.
And C9. I still I'm happy to place them over FlyQuest. I think that's a reasonable fight. And I think CLG really can do it. Are going to Worlds? Yeah, they're not the favorite, right? But
Sure.
they can absolutely do it. But the take of CLG could go to Worlds is not a real take. Yeah, duh.
It's not something you're predicting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could happen. It's a hot take, and I think they're a very good team. Dokla is cracked. The team is getting better. I think it's a good team.
Here's the thing. It's still within the realm of possibility, which is why it's on the line.
No.
It's not
It's
off
not-
the screen.
it's not like pants on fire.
It's
Second
not like
extra for just
absolutely.
imaginary.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, take number 2.
Number 2, we're going for relatively hot as well. Dignitas aren't winning another game.
Oh.
Dignitas are 2-16 for the summer split. I think it's 2.
Let me look at their schedule.
That's brutal.
I mean,
That
it's
is really
every
brutal.
other LCS team.
It's also
look at their
single.
schedule, though.
It's also single games. So
Yeah, I know.
I have a really. So I'll say this. I do think that's not definitely not as hot as CLG. The CLG take, but it's
also more brutal than it is hot.
Yeah, it's
which is like a debate
oh,
you can
no.
have. It feels bad
Yeah.
to say. Is
I'm
it
still
wrong?
tempted though to say that it's spicier than Fly 3rd, but less spicy than CLG Worlds because I feel like there's more fail safes to prevent CLG
I am
from getting to
team
Worlds. You know what I
TSM.
mean?
Do you think it's more likely percentage-wise that
TL.
FlyQuest makes Worlds and Dignitas not winning another game?
I don't know. I think they're relatively
Oh,
close.
actually, maybe
But
you're right.
Here's the logic, though, right? Which is that Dignitas is the only team who are not investing in this split anymore. And that's fine. they're here in the league and they're like, XU, get some more practice, right? Like, Spawn, that's great. If you're screwed, cool, like, optimize for 2023. Like, I'm not flaming Dig for this, but they're the only team not reinvesting in this split. They sold River because they're caring about next year, get some money back. Maybe it's more to spend on next year's roster, who knows? But, like, TSM bought in solo, he's already on, right? Golden Guardians themselves bought River, like, Dignitas aren't invested. They're gonna lose all their games.
I think it's a hot take because I do think they'll win one.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think you convinced me that it is not actually as hot as this. So we're thinking about here, maybe? Does that feel?
Great.
Yeah, feels good.
We're okay with that one.
There's no emphatic agreement from anybody in the class.
Well,
You're the judge.
you pushed it towards the middle.
No, I screwed it up. No, I said we as a trio decide.
mean,
What was
it's
the
still
take
relatively
even?
hot.
I already forgot.
Dignitas-
Dig doesn't
Dignitas
win.
zero
Does not
wins.
win another game.
Yeah, Dig.
I just think that's
Zero.
so hard in single game. Like,
Sure.
best of ones.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
There's always variants.
But that makes it a
Yeah.
spicy take then, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Third and final
then
take.
Third take, we're going for the right hand side of the screen on this one. I'm predisposing all of you. EG is still the best team in the LCS. They nearly lost to Immortals.
Okay.
Right? They are tied with 100 Thieves.
Worlds is fun.
No. I
Yeah,
mean,
you can just
there
slam
is-
that one.
There was a very real case. You could be like,
That's-
oh no, 100 Thieves are better. Oh, C9 are better, right?
You could make the case 100 Thieves is better. Recently, they're on a 5-game win streak. They beat EG during that win streak. I think you could make the case that it's not clear, but Dash is
But you're putting it
underruled.
under the ice cube.
I'm sorry.
It's to the right of Worlds is fun.
So here's
I
actually,
disagree with that
No,
placement.
because here's why. You said EG is still the best. As my watch just falls off my wrist. Did you
watch
see
out,
that?
dude.
Like, there's a ghost in here. The reason why I think this is because this is a fact. They are the top team in the league. They are in sole possession of first place.
I don't
It's not a
think.
take.
I don't think. I don't
feel
think
like-
tying for first is best.
I feel like you just were possessed by the ghost of Jatt with the results based like, well, they're still in first. So objectively,
That's
they're
what
the
I'm gonna
best.
go with. And there's, something could happen, I guess, that makes Worlds.
I mean, they
not
literally
fun.
just lost to 100 Thieves like 6 days ago. It is very reasonable to be like, no, they're
I
only the
think
second
this is
best
an incredibly
team.
cold take.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm aware.
As someone who wants the coldest take, I got to agree. I think my take is worse. I want the honor of.
Oh Lord!
Wow.
I think it's locked how it is. It's a pretty good distribution from all of you. Well
good
done.
job.
But here's the thing: if we
I
take
have
a
the
look at the
most-
standings,
I have the
like
most
I
range.
said,
I'm just saying I have the most
you do have the most range,
range.
And I would expect nothing less of Phreak than having the most range on the desk.
So talented.
But see, as I said, we take a look at the standings, and it is Evil Geniuses in sole possession of first place, being the best team in the league. Followed by 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, Cloud9, that big tie for fourth, Cloud9, CLG, and FlyQuest before we get to Golden Guardians, Immortals Progressive, TSM, and Dignitas Quantum closing things out. From here, we go to the schedule. It's TSM versus Golden Guardians to kick off the day, followed by Evil Geniuses versus FlyQuest, Cloud9 versus Team Liquid Honda, smack dab in the middle of the day. 100 Thieves versus Immortals Progressive, and we close things out with CLG versus Dignitas. Couple very important matchups, especially when we consider things like that Cloud9, Team Liquid Honda, push for top 3, top 4.
The thing that jumped out to me actually the most was the Immortals 2 and 3. And they had some games that they should have won during that stretch.
Yeah.
Well, like the EG one yesterday was like, all right, you probably should have won. You even had the call that like, they've won the game twice and then they lost the game.
That was the most heartbreaking loss for Immortals. Like, as a viewer, it was already in a situation EG shouldn't lose this, but then to watch Immortals fight back and claw back into it,
revenge.
it was so hard. It was so hard to watch.
This split feels like it's a lot of like Fudge, Revenge, and Dokla. We're just like absurdly cracked top laners. It's like, please, team, keep up with me.
Yes.
Right? Like, at least before Sven came in, where like there's a few argument where Fudge is like actually 1v9. But I mean, Dokla hard carried CLG. He and Contracts player of the game for me. And then Revenge, like, just by himself deserved that win. Like, he deserved to beat EG, and it sucks that nothing else quite clicked for him. But like, I mean, I'm so stoked for those players though. People saying like, oh, top, you just feed top, whatever. And like those 3 guys are like, I will put this team on my back, and I will almost or actually get there.
It's just funny because yesterday was the complete opposite of that, where multiple times someone got turbo stomped and then they
and then
won
win
the
game.
game.
Yeah.
Like it happened to Fudge, happened to Whippo, happened to Impact. Like all 3
yeah.
of the best top laners were like, hey, 0-4, win the game.
No, you gotta love it. And again, just this tweet, because again, in referencing how insane that game was, inspired with the Elder Steel, because that that was it. It all came down to that. Immortals would have locked it up if they were able to secure just that. That does bring us just about to the end of Waiting Room and also the time when we say goodbye to Phreak. Thank you so much for bringing in some of those spicy takes.
Thanks, everyone.
Taking the homework assignment seriously. I appreciate that, as always, my
Both sides
friend.
of the number line.
You get out of here. We're going to kick off with the Week 6 promo. Take a look.
Corki and Hansama was someone that people said, yeah, they'll be the best in the NA for sure. Maybe the best in the West even, right? Hansama is a very good player, but he hasn't been playing as well as he used to. Rogue was considered the best ball in EU by far in lane phase when he was playing there.
When I play there in NA, I feel the pressure because that's also the expectation that I set for myself. It's very hard.
Nowadays, he doesn't feel like that scared to be playing against Hansama.
I think I was trying so hard before in trying to go 200%, for example, in every single practice, in every single matches. And I think we can see that on stage.
Punishing the mistake of evil geniuses. Hansama goes in, but he's going to be brought back to life by Bjergsen. Santorin jumps up, Santorin goes down, Hansama's out.
Oh my god, that Hansama flash into the Gnar! What was that?
He's making a lot of mistakes that he didn't make when he was in EU. In NA, he's been getting caught a lot, he's been dying a lot in team fights, even in lane phase.
I was in a zone where, oh, why am I forcing? It just doesn't make sense. That's not being true to myself because that's not the way that I was as a player. I think I tried something that is not me, but it wasn't useless.
Pushed around, Hansama knocks down Boom.
I think I learned a lot about myself, and I believe I'm on the right track.
Flash away from the Monkey King. The shutdown goes over to Licorice, but at the cost of 3 Golden Guardians players.
The next match, I'm excited to see how I show.
Welcome back to the LCS. Well, during that short period of time, I learned a couple things about Raz. Number one, he doesn't know how to use a hanger. Number two, he was apparently trying on all my jackets in the wardrobe room during waiting room.
Because my hanger's right next to yours.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I didn't know if my clothes were on the left or on the right.
Right.
And one of the,
And the last 2 years that we've worked together wasn't any indication of
How
where
about
your
hangers just
clothes
hasn't
normally
changed?
are and
Hasn't
where
changed over 2 years.
my clothes normally
so,
are.
like, one of the instructions were just to try all of the jackets.
This man is catwalking in the dressing room all by himself before the show. That's amazing. Did you like them? Did you find a good one?
Nice jackets.
Okay, thank you.
I love them.
Thank
You have a lot of variety with leather jackets.
I know, they did good work. Anyway, let's get into it. Welcome back onto the show, my friend. We're diving into the first game of the day. It's Golden Guardians up against TSM, but of course, we have to talk about the Golden Guardians side of things with bringing River in just this last week. Had his debut with the roster. What are our thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this was a follow-up on some vision he'd placed on this side of the map in the enemy jungle. Obviously, we know River did this on Dig. We saw him do it a little bit yesterday. CLG definitely got the best of them through mid-jungle, which we'll talk about later. But overall, he was interacting with his lanes more than we previously saw Pride Stalker.
Yeah, I think it was also a game where Contracts was all over the map. He had like 7 kills and assists through the first 10 minutes of the game or something. And so it's kind of hard to look good as the opponent jungler when all that was going on. I think that's like more on Golden Guardians laners not respecting when the Poppy could show up in their lanes.
Yeah.
More than it is an indictment of River. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, jungle gap. And it's more like, laners, please.
Yes, a lot of that. It felt like basically River just traded in the yellow jersey for the gold jersey, and he still had laners that were dying endlessly to ganks. So like, it was just, and so that one was rough. I mean, I predicted that one for CLG simply because, of course, CLG were a much more well-oiled machine. They had stuck together and improved together for a long period of time. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians had just had that sudden change. So I expect them to be much better. The last game was honestly probably the best practice they've had all week with Rivers. So I think they'll be a much better team today.
Yeah, hopefully they can set them up on a little bit more even ground so we can evaluate those matchups a little bit more accurately, for lack of a better word. From here, though, I do want to go to a word from Chime on playing against Golden Guardians.
Going up against Golden Guardians, I'm like psyched for that matchup. I think like all the players there, like some of them are like my closest friends here, and I have like a lot of respect for the coaching staff too, everything like that. I just think ultimately like they bet on Olleh and TSM bet on me, so I'm gonna like show that TSM was right.
Boom! I mean, I loved it because I remember. I was the academy coach when he first came on in Golden Guardians, and like the entire experience for him was great, sure. But the funniest thing too was that Olleh was his player coach at the time. So a lot of the notes that were being given to him when he was first coming in through academy was through Olleh, and so like you could tell, like yes, he's worked and with a lot of those players, with a lot of the coaching staff, but it was always since him coming on to Golden Guardians was him working very closely with Olleh. So I wonder how much he knows about his game coming in. He is probably the most well-studied on Olleh's habits going into this matchup.
I mean,
and vice versa.
Do you feel like, from your experience working with him, that they are actually similar players, or just that hey, he learns from him, but they actually are very different in the way that they themselves play on the Rift?
I think they're naturally different. Even though Chime's best play is through his engage supports like Rakan and all that, and I mean he's never going to play the Bard, but like Bard, like he is a great engager, but he will take more sure engages. Like he wants to be certain that it's going to work. Whereas Olleh,
he's a maniac.
He's crazy. If he sees the play, he's gonna go for it, right? Like if they have a lead, like why not? Olleh's the more of a why not type, even though he can put the ground, like he is a lot more structured. But Chime is someone who wants to make the sure play.
Everybody has a why not friend in their life.
True.
Everybody needs a why not friend in their life.
Wasn't yesterday he's like 3-1-2 on Nami?
Yes, he was.
He was actually.
We're like, when is the bounty gonna start kicking in? Like we were just waiting because he kept he flashed forward for the kill in bot lane. He flashed again for another kill in mid, I think, later on.
Yeah, and it's not as if there's no method to his madness. The experience that he's had throughout his entire career working in Team Liquid and all of these things has led to him to be at the right place at the right time constantly, which was literally his Nami. So was at the right place at the right time, covered the mid dive when it happened. Of course, when his mid laner died, he was able to get at least the benefit off of it on the kill. So Olleh has benefited off the experience, his knowledge of the game, and now that madness, he can benefit off of it.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to talk about the new addition to the Golden Guardians roster, we're going to have to do the same on the side of TSM, Mark. And this was one of those games where, as you talked about, top laners.
Top diff. Really, jungle diff is top diff, it feels like. And a lot of the times it's not a great trade because, TSM was dying a little bit, but at least shows that, they can make plays around solo. You just need to shore up the rest of your map while you're going through these. But they picked on Bwipo. I think it was 4 kills through 21 minutes, 22 minutes, so definitely beat him up.
Yeah, and you mentioned this earlier in waiting room. It was just the theme of the day. The entire day was the opposing team looking for top lane ganks and dives simply because, I guess that was their only option while their bot lane was getting ravaged. And so it was hilarious because, yes, TSM found success through getting solo ahead, but they need to pay a little bit more mind towards their bottom side of the map.
So that was going to be my question, right? Is Solo even the kind of player that you do want to put a ton of resources into?
Is he rocking a mullet right now?
He's getting there.
Yeah.
A little growth there.
He is
because
there.
he picks things like Ornn, and I've always seen him very much as a mercenary, right? Looking to fill a slot. And so I do wonder if that is kind of what TSM should
the bounty hunter even has the mullet.
There it is.
Dog the bounty hunter. Oh my God, I can't not see it.
That's amazing. It's accurate too.
He's the mercenary in the top lane. Solo.
You brought us here. You got 45 seconds now to talk about
No, I
don't even know what I asked now, Mark.
I'm sorry.
But to answer your question, Dash, when he was most successful, you were putting resources away from him. You were sending it to the bot lane. When FlyQuest had him in the top side of the map, where was the jungler? nowhere near his lane ever. And Solo, like, kind of was amazing at that. He was the king at that. So send the pressure to the bot side of the map.
There you have it. Recipe for success. With that, we're done for a bit. It's time for freaking Jatt to take over. Enjoy.
The big bad guy.
Hello and welcome. The crowd is counting down. 1. Now we can start. Thank you very much, everybody. TSM and Golden Guardians have taken to the stage. I am Phreak. That is Jatt. We don't have a very catchy caster duo name.
No, it'll come with time. I think
It's
just
been
a
a
couple
long
more years
time.
together, and we're gonna find the right nickname.
10 years.
2013
Yeah.
to 2012, we'll get it eventually. Good to be into Champ Select here. You can see the records of these teams. GG 4-8, TSM 3-9. So even though it kind of feels like Golden Guardians has been close to so many wins, they haven't been able to convert. And if they lose this game here to TSM, they would actually be completely tied in the standings.
And it's going to be fun to see what happens here on this one because obviously both teams have reinvested. TSM grabbing Solo, Golden Guardians, if you go far enough back.
True.
Actually concurrent with Chime on the org. But Chime, who had spent 2 years on Golden Guardians as well, brought over here. And as he said in the interview, it's like, well, they chose Olleh. I'm going to make him believe, TSM made the better choice believing in me. TSM obviously trying to invest in that late season surge. Golden Guardians, the new jungler in River. Had a competitive game against CLG, couldn't quite get it to happen. But now I got to see what this drop's going to look like here.
I expect to see, I think I'll see fairly big early game priority from both of these teams. And the one thing I'm going to be curious about is whether or not Solo just gets picked early at tank once again. So in their first game, they actually just picked Ornn into GP, which isn't normally what you see. But just to first pick Azir doesn't necessarily speak to that strategy at all.
All right, happy to play for the scaling mid lane. Maple controlling this one, obviously the easily most veteran player on the Rift entirely. Absolutely, you're up against River again. Licorice looking at the Poppy, who has been the big jungler pick, and it means River has the premier jungler on this patch.
Absolutely, it's also what Contracts used against him yesterday to rack up 6 or 7 kills within the kills and assists within the first 10 minutes of the game. So definitely good against Azir as well, trying to gank that lane. Makes it very difficult for him to shift away. And blind pick top there kind of is just another power pick, but it is daring Solo a little bit to try and find a counter.
It will be Licorice's first Gwen of the split. The feedback I've heard from sample of 2, but every top laner I've talked to says, oh, his champ pool is really, really small. Fudge says he can only play Fiora. Douglas said he plays 2 champions. And there's a new one for him, so we'll see if it works out for him. I would say Licorice has been really, really hit and miss. Fudge did a top lane tier list. He put Fudge 6th, I believe, which is relatively high. Fudge had put Licorice as number 6 overall. I don't even know if Soul's on the list, honestly, but Licorice's been really hit and miss so far in the split, and so I want to see if he'll have a strong game here now up against Gnar.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the how big of a Fudge are the enemy top laners wasn't the most serious list. Fudge said he was going to do it live, but he did have Solo down somewhere tied for 9th, mainly small sample size this year. Gnar is a very generic pick for Solo and does speak towards what could be a solo strategy where you just leave him up there against the Gwen Poppy. There is a high risk of getting dove early on in the game, so that would be what those first 2 picks for Golden Guardians at least say to me. And we're back to Corki Azir, even though this is a much weaker Corki.
Yeah, AP ratio's nerfed, and I think that can really mean a lot here. There's always a chance that you can play just AD carry Corki. I think Marks Corki is totally fine. I think it's always been a viable build to play a more, just a stable sort of champion who's going to play team fights more so than be a poke, but we'll see what build he wants to go for, of course. We've seen Bjergsen play Shieldbow Corki, for example. You can go Trinity Force, all that kind of stuff is out there as possibilities. But we go into the second ban phase as we have mirrored roles everywhere. So bottom lane is going to be the one to look at here. Instinct had a pentakill, but otherwise been, I don't know, pretty attacked. TSM's lost yesterday.
Yeah.
He was the one getting killed the most by far. Meanwhile, Stixxay was the one force keeping Golden Guardians in their game against CLG. So we'll see that Golden Guardians bot lane still works well because, Chime versus Olleh is going to be a fun match.
Yeah, yesterday it was Stixxay Olleh on Lucian Nami and Instinct Chime on Jinx Braum. So Instinct Chime was on the more attempted scaling lane, but not only lost lane, then got attacked very hard. I like the Rakan ban because that is what Chime has looked best on. And also, I very much respect the Lucian ban to block out the Lucian Nami that Stixxay Olleh looked good on yesterday.
Yeah, and Zeri, Yuumi, a possibility here as well. Of course, if you grab Zeri, there's not a lot
Both
of lanes
banned.
people love. Yeah, good call. But Yuumi with Sivir, maybe, those are some of the options as well that can look really good. Good call on the Zeri ban. Golden Guardians. Ooh, okay, they're going to go for Senna, and she's never going to have quite that same consistent damage, so if you are looking to be a little bit more supportive down there, Senna TK, something like that. Golden Guardians known for just a plethora of Senna lanes. They've done Yasuo, they've done Mundo. I think they've even done a Tahm Kench once, but that was actually as a raw support, so have it to actually play Senna TK.
I think this is a pretty good angle to try and play an Enchanter lane for TSM, but I also am curious to track how much teams do value Sivir here, because Sivir has shot up the priority this patch in terms of AD carry picks. There were large buffs in a bit of a rescope for her, and Braum isn't a traditional Enchanter, but he does have Enchanter qualities in lane, but he's definitely more of a roamer engager. That would be, it's probably just a hover for Chime, but it would actually not be that terrible of a pick.
Hey,
we
get
go.
locked in, yes! A week ago, Chime was asked on this stage, like, hey, why don't we see more Bard for you? He's like, well, he's not really meta. I'd rather keep it as a pocket pick and an option and not just like have it be my gimmick. I don't want to force it in the game so it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense here? Chime's Bard, shocker, named after it. Who would have thought? That's going to be the option here. And the question is, Golden Guardian,
All right.
what is his flex looking like? Is it, again, a Sejuani in the bottom lane? Olleh played it as a raw support before.
Yep. And
Here we
this time he's going to be able to get farmed. So I think it's a good pick for Olleh because he has put the time into it and almost no one has the time against it. I think if you were to do this week over week, it would probably fall off a little bit, but Olleh definitely knows this matchup and they're going back to it.
Whippo spoke yesterday in his interview with Fudge about playing off-meta champions where people think you know something that they don't, and they'll just like, well, but maybe you can all in me here. Like, maybe you know something I don't, and they'll just kind of chill. He talked about playing Zac top blind pick, and it's like, I should have been punished there. Like, he just didn't go after me. And so, yeah, how many people have played Bard versus Sejuani? To be fair, Bard, again, also outside the meta. Yes, yes, of course, Bard support, but like, has Olleh actually played a Sejuani versus Bard lane before, right? Like, has he ever played that lane? Probably neither one of them, to be fair.
It's a good chance.
Yeah.
But what does he know? There's no way of knowing
What does he
knows.
know? Yeah, you are immune to the Bard Q slow. You'll still get stunned afterwards, but you can kind of get farther away. We are heading out of the Rift very, very soon, as Solo has replaced in the top lane for TSM. Actually looked pretty good yesterday. I think to me and many people, he becomes highly recommended. I think he is a very, very good player. Should be a good breath of fresh air for TSM. We had seen Coach Hooney behind them as well, helping to dictate these drafts. And Golden Guardians with their new jungler River, hoping to make that push up as well. TSM only one game behind Golden Guardians here in the standings. Playoffs still to fight for. Postseason still to fight for as we are on to the Rift, the first game of the day.
Both of these teams desperately looking to pick up a win. Still a TSM contingent.
Yes.
They are ever present in the LCS. And with this new roster, if you remember, they were 2-5 before they made the changes. So they are 1-4 since then. Yesterday's game was a little bit of a disaster, mainly because the bottom lane got punished so hard. Yes, they were able to pick up kills onto Solo, but that was more almost as a defense mechanism of trying to get something, it felt like. So we know TSM has kept Spica Maple together this whole time. So they are the ones, to me, that need to play well together. Sivir can shove lane, Gnar can be self-sufficient. So if the side lanes just kind of be neutral, it would be on Spica and Maple to try and drive them to victory.
Chime, I believe, earns 20 gold for landing his Q and gets the passive off of Olleh for a bit. It'll come back later, but earns a bit of money. Stixxay goes, I've got mana regen. We'll toss you a Q for this one as well. Pretty standard fleet footwork here on the Senna. I think if you're really pokey lane, I'm still partial to the idea of going Airy plus Scorch and actually push people out of lane. I think Sivir is the kind of champion that you can wear down potentially. So, you know, could have been an option here. We'll see how much poke he takes, though, on the back end as they're going to look for the fight for this wave, put some damage on the Instinct.
Chime actually got 60 gold off of that poke, so he got all 3 spell freeze charges out. But immediately Olleh goes in for a trade, trying to get early push in this lane.
Yeah, they're fighting back and forth. Of course, Grasp is up. Can be tough to use on this Sejuani.
Yeah.
Unless you land Q or R, you can't really use Aftershock for much. So Grasp lets you, at some point, go for Q in auto and get some health back. But you're against double range. You're going to have a really hard time using that. You can see All right, Q and auto, yeah, I got some health back, but the boomerang hitting Stixxay. He's gonna be careful, burns his heal, running for his life, flash to escape. Sejuani, though, still nothing else to hit but the Q, so no CC, no follow-up.
Yeah, 2 summoner spells for 2, but I think TSM is going to take that trade because they get both summoner spells off of the AD carry. So in terms of the defensive ability to survive a gank, that is gone for Stixxay.
But there is a flashless Bard, and Poppy's running the way over. I love this route.
What an interesting path.
Yeah, Trinket over the wall to hit the Krugs, and Zhao never goes Krugs in an early clear. He almost always skips them. His clear is faster for that one.
Raptors, then all the way Snake down here for Krugs. And if they can crash this wave, that's a Poppy dive angle. Poppy, one of the best champions for diving because you can almost always find a stun against the wall with the E.
All right, here we go. Level 3 gonna be as he finishes the Krugs off, and Chime may have a little health potion, but here we go. Chime, no flash, Instinct, no heal, they're into it. Pushing towards the wall, it's onto Instinct, they gotta slow. The flash follow, and Golden Guardians go for broke, and they get the ankles with it. 1-0, and now Chime going to be 3. They'll reset the tower aggro. Stacks done into Stixxay. Do they go for more? The health bar's too low. They decide, you know what? Cut the wave down. Okay. Stixxay takes the aggro, 2 shots, walks away. Chime's gonna drop the trade back. He might trade 2.
It's 2.
Olleh, he will drop a double kill, but it is golden XP dropped in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that's the redive is a little questionable. Chime, we'll see if he can do anything with those boots of swiftness, but since you gave the gold with support and you got the gold onto your Senna, they're probably pretty happy with this. And in terms of that gank and that sacrifice, that's the difference between River and Pridestalker.
Yeah.
Everyone on Golden Guardians would almost, it felt like poke at Pridestalker about talking about full clear and efficiency 24/7. That is not the efficiency play for River. Cross-mapping to take enemy Krugs and then dying during a dive is a quintessential River play.
Yeah.
Let's see if it pays off for Stixxay because he's the one that is the beneficiary of that play.
Oh, and of course you can see that TSM wants to get a bit more done though. They're like, look, we know River's behind. We know Spica's level 4. Like, he's got summoner advantage. Let's look for something here. Smite gonna be hit in time. They're gonna be fine. Stixxay's already there. And as they walk away, I want to point out one other minor thing, because kills are not created equal. You mentioned it's on a support. Yes, granted, I totally agree with you. But also the kill was unassisted. So it was 600 gold for a double kill. It was 450 for a single kill. So even in his gold trade, it was actually pretty close.
I believe Sivir got assist gold on 1.
Oh, she did.
She's at 0-1 and 1. But yeah, let's just watch this gank one more time. They burn everything to get Instinct, which makes sense. And this second dive, I think if they get the stun, it's a little higher chance, but you're almost always trading at least 1 back. It makes sense that Stixxay takes turret aggro because he's the one that can take a few shots and back up. But then whoever gets aggro next is surely going to die. It's not quite clean. They end up both getting it. In an ideal world, they get that kill before the turret can go to Chime, and a 1-for-1 is definitely worth it. 1-for-2, not as much.
All right, 300 gold positive to TSM off that play. As you mentioned, the assist on Sivir. Good call out there as Ablazeolive takes a slow to the face, and he's going to hurt on that one as well. No indication yet on his build. Is going first strike that, you know, leans toward poke, but everyone goes Manamune first item pretty much, so
yeah.
Wait to see which way he goes. Is it nerfed AP? Is it not? Licorice going to try to trade his blows with Solo here. Yep, wants to walk back in, gets the final shot on Hyper, and we can see 40 to 37, very close lineup here so far.
Yeah, one other small point I'll bring up about the Senna is I think specifically gold on Senna that doesn't CS is the most valuable because you're getting so many stats from your souls and you get to multiply that with your gold, if that makes sense. Yeah. If you're normally farming for your gold, you don't get the souls. So this is the way you can tap into both power sources when you're able to get turret or kill gold out of that champ.
Solo's on the way in. He's almost Mega Gnar. Out goes Licorice. Ghost burned, ulti burned, running away. That was a nice little try by Solo as Spica was hovering behind as well. Mid lane shoved in. Maple gonna TP back in, and again, the TP every mid laner wants is actually finishing Lost Chapter when you're forced back into lanes. Maple has what he wants in this lane. He's gonna feel good about it, and I think this is gonna be Azir with a lot of lane control from here on out.
River is looking for it. There is no flash on Instinct, and he's not level 6 yet. Can they get a slower route?
Good spell shield. Yeah, not much more you're gonna do with that one on River, so good Instinct to walk away in time. Yep. Unintentional on that one as River walks away.
This is very reminiscent of the types of games that River had on Dignitas back in Lock-In or even early Spring Split, where he would just consistently try and find ways to punish that bot lane, and that's when Biofrost and Neo were carrying a lot of the games. So even though so much of Golden Guardians previous jungle has been about full clearing and generally ganking top. If Pride Stalker was ganking, it was most likely going to be top lane. Licorice has received no assistance, and it's been multiple ganks to the bot lane. So a very different look from Golden Guardians early in this one.
Indeed, but it has led them to a small gold lead, so well done so far. Trying to hold on to that one game, and it would grow it to a 2-game lead over TSM. Dignitas in 10th at 2, so 4 puts you pretty comfortable for now in playoff position. 4 gets you above that hump pretty well. At 5, I guess, would be if they won, so that's always going to be the goal here. TSM, of course, also fighting for a playoff spot. Hoping that can be their play as well, as Cannon goes down, push comes in. CS very close between Sejuani and Sivir. Yeah. Often a black mark for Sivir to be equal in CS with a melee lane. Often you can poke them out and make them, deny them casters frequently, but not the case right now. Golden Guardians farming well.
River looking for an angle here. Maybe hoping that Solo would jump in aggressively. Otherwise, it's pretty tough to pull anything off. Wave is pushing in, though.
Okay, jumps in for a bit. There we go. We've got it in the way. The flash kind of required. I think Hop was already down anyway. And so River able to force a flash out is pretty smart.
Yeah, Spica up here as well. He's hoping to find a face check.
Oh, he will. He's going to be enough. Slow's going to be there. Follows up. They're going to find a knockup? No. Away from the tower. Yeah, the ulti. The slow is going to be enough. The shots still come through. Pretty decent damage. Licorice getting himself back up a little bit. You can see FTX Total Gold. Stixxay is in first place. Maple also outfarming Ablazeolive.
Yeah, and all of this happens because Solo wants to crash the wave. The wave was just in a strange spot. He needed to be able to push it in, and that's why Spica originally went up there. They also have a recall timing of Bard, where they were thinking about Rift Herald, but if you just kind of look at the minimap, both bot lanes returned. So that's why Senna and Sejuani are running out mid, because they don't know where Bard is, and they could be thinking about a Rift Herald play. So until the bot lane show, it's all about this Herald here.
And one play we started to see actually a lot from the top teams of the LCS was at this point, you sort of lane swap. Like everyone kind of comes mid. Sometimes you just send the mid laner down to bot already. Yeah. And Ablazeolive's already gone. It doesn't match the TP timer, but you just let him solo bot lane and you play for 4vx for the Herald. Right now it is Golden Guardians all 5. Gonna have Sivir pretty soon. That's gonna land, and Maple just gonna drop. Well done to Stixxay to get the shutdown. He's got all 3 kills in the team. Herald's gotta be pretty easy now with Maple gone.
It looks like that was Olleh's ultimate catching him on level 6, but Maple not even able to flash away. That just gifts the Rift Herald over to Golden Guardians, so it didn't even end up being a Rift Herald fight. It was just contesting over the mid wave. Maple stepped up a little bit too far, didn't dodge the skill shot, and Golden Guardians gets another one.
Pretty big stuff right there. 1,000 gold lead and 300 more to go off the Herald charge, even if you don't kill a turret. But keep in mind, bot lane has lost a plate already, so that one's going to have some decent work done toward it. Another recall not coming through for the Umbral Glaive completed Senna. Licorice forces the Ghost away as well. Flash gonna find the stun. Here's the follow-through, so it'll buy some time, but not enough. Chimes dropped the aggro. Spica lives as well. A tower dive works well for TSM.
So they get the kill onto Spica. That's a nice bounce back. It also gets the Senna ultimate and the summoner spells out of Licorice. The question will be, what can they do with this advantage? All 3 players got very low. All 3 of them have to reset, so it ends up being that 450 gold trade, and they're going to sacrifice a large amount of tempo into the bot lane. This game looking very similar for TSM, actually. The only place it feels like they can make plays happen is around Solo. Everywhere else on the map is struggling.
Yep, pretty strong player. Again, he's got a lot of priority. I don't know. Solo's very, very good. He's one of those players where last year, like, he wasn't on a team. Yeah. Same as, like, Biofresh. Like, this is a very, very good player who deserves a spot. I will just continue to champion Solo because I think he's a very, very good player. He steps in the roster, and he's already, performance-wise, maybe that's a performing member on TSM. He's doing incredibly well. Or at least top half, right? I mean, Spica's obviously incredible, Maple's obviously incredible, but he's been very good. So cool to see that, kind of him pick back up right away, because I think he is a very, very strong player. Chime going to fight for this ward down here. River's already on the way back over. Says, no, you can't have it.
And looks like River's just going to continue to try and play through this bot lane. Everything Stixxay, Olleh, River really seems like the trio, and Licorice, Olive are on their own. TP check quickly. Solos would be up soon, but it does look like this is too dangerous of a Drake to contest, and that bot lane lead pays another objective to Golden Guardians.
Good job. Pretty much outside of the kills and tower dives, perfect game objective-wise. Certainly not kills, but they are solidly in control. Gold lead has been walked back, though. TSM off of the dive and a solid source of farm has caught back up in gold overall. Chime going to be rooted up for a bit. Stixxay already got his 1 soul. And now we're going to look at mid lane. Okay, so the goal is to crack mid, actually. Ablazeolive wearing the package had done so when the Drake had come up. Instinct, a good flash, actually. Spell shields the important slow off the W, and then flashes away from the rest of it, so stays alive. But that's now Summoners down for Instinct.
So it looks like the assault on bot lane is going to continue. So Instinct going to be in a very defensive posture for quite a while. Keeping his CS up though and has the Kraken Slayer. I still contest that this game should be about what Maple and Spica can do. So Maple hasn't actually been able to accomplish much, hasn't been able to shove in Corki early to get any roam timings. And River, again, first on the map, but only down 5 CS to Spica. See if he can make a play.
Well, solo, Gnar, they want to wait that one out. And here comes the attempted trade pushing in. They were going to have a Gnar to the wall. Had to go a bit early, but it might still be enough. You got a Bard buying some time with the Coco's coming down. The health comes back in. Stun's going to land. Senna buys a second, but will it be enough? Licorice goes down. Solo finds his kill. Spica low, but he's not in tower range, and River cannot finish the job.
This has been the bright spot for TSM. Another well-played move in the top lane. They're going to go for more, possibly River.
River goes for broke, it shoves around, but blocks up Solo, and that's going to be snowballing. A huge outplay, River. He should die to the Ignite, and he will do so. Chime gets one back. A one front off some heroics.
Okay, so it is a 2-for-1 overall. Plates don't get burned, and Sejuani is actually picking up the turret plates in the bottom lane. So all over the place, we were expecting a lot of early game action from these two teams. And even though the compositions are heavily scaling based, we still have 9 kills in the first 13 minutes.
Exciting. So once again, here is the attempt on the Solo. They go just early. Gets Gnar off to buy some time.
Yeah, you could see Solo was really sticking around, almost greeting for that plate. So that's why River did go before the Gnar ran off, because the plate had procced. But the move was on the way from TSM. Really nice chaining by Chime. But you could see, like, he's on the way out, and Maple then says, hey, I'm here. So of course they want to push for more, but a good TP coming in right there means that even if they get the kill on this dive, they're going to lose at least one on the other end.
And now get the fight towards Solo here, trying to make the big plays. Has Gnar and Olleh a little bit alone. Here comes a Bard, flashes. He's got Stixxay coming around. He's going to be camouflaged.
Okay.
They might find the re-engage. Spica does not go the right way. I think he wanted to not go in the pit. I think he wanted to be in the fight. I'm not sure. But he's going to dive in now for a bit more. If he can land the W, if he can land the slow, this could be a pretty good fight. But okay, he's going to land it onto Stixxay. Bard ult lands one. This should be a stun. There should be minions in the way. Will it be enough,
could
though?
be a turn. River's here.
Getting hit. His ult's going to end in a second. Does River have it? River has a blue smite. He tackles a minute to get the move speed. Slowed up. The double stun comes in for Chime. Huge. I think that might have saved the life.
All right, everybody back away. Nothing to see here. No kills. Woo! More action.
This is fun.
More action around Solo. And this is actually, as based off all that, keep in mind that was a 3v4, so Instinct actually finds his way back in the game a little bit, got about a wave and a half uncontested, and is even moving for Raptors. But this is one of the things that Solo does. He plays disrespectfully, so you're right on the edge of wanting to think he's a free kill, or because he's playing disrespectfully, he often gets like good trades. He's actually a very good laner, so it's never easy to punish him. The flip side of this is it is very easy to punish him in scrims. So this is actually something Jizuke did as well, where you're very conditioned to just getting free kills against this player. But on stage, it is different because it's the only time he actually focuses and is more aware of what can punish him. So really, really unique players. Hard to practice with, hard to practice against, but very big stage buffs. And that's what we're seeing from Solo here.
Yeah, the stage buff looking pretty good. TSM on a 800 gold lead and a kill lead to boot here against Golden Guardians. Fighting for the second Rift Herald now. Drake up in 35. It'd be the second one of the game. 4 Golden Guardians, they get it. I popped yet again. Smites up and upgraded for both junglers. 900 on that mark. Speak, take a little bit of poke here. River wants to go in, and he's going to try, and he's going to get it. Wow, he's going to Rift Herald.
But a fight.
Yeah, a double ult, though, buying some time for Chime. Nice scoop by Maple. Is it going to be enough? A quick shield for Senna. Gnar scoops in the wall, flash to safety. One for nothing.
Good.
Absolutely huge, and Golden Guardians, they may have gotten the Herald, but they've dropped 2.
TSM coming online a little bit right there. Beautiful play there by Solo. Gets the double stun, chains it, and still flashes out with his life. So yes, River gets the Herald, but it's a massive cost to pay. They lose 2 kills, and they give away the Dragon. Watching this one more time, it is just a 5v5 at the Rift Herald. And even though the Poppy ultimate does help them get the steal, did the ult actually kill it?
Yeah, he split it at 930. The ult killed it.
Oh my god. But either way, the ult doesn't actually help them in the fight, because by the time the fight is engaged, Spica is able to re-enter it, and TSM is able to clean up.
And yeah, I'm not sure he ever got in range to grab the eye. Okay, it's on Licorice. Licorice holding it. So Licorice managed to walk his way in. Jatt, don't cheat. Don't look at the bottom scoreboard. Who's 4-1-3 this game?
I mean, I see it. It's Chime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, right?
It is. It is.
He wanted to be like, I don't want Bard to be a crutch though. You know, I want to make sure I can play the meta champ. He's like, he is turbo stomping in Pisslow on Bard right now. Like, he got a double kill under his tower. Like, this man is cracked on the champion name so far. I'll be honest, I want to see more, and I say this half-heartedly, one tricks.
Yeah.
Playing their one tricks. Like, I want to see more Riven from Revenge. I want to see more Bard from Chime, because this is what happens on it. Samuel has one, he's crushing.
It's really possible, but the interesting thing about one tricks is they also know their angles. Which is why when they do play it is often successful because they can see it. But here's another fight. Yeah,
looking pretty good right there. Chime getting over the wall safely as Olleh will not be slowed. He will jump over. As the blast plan is in, Spica still running pretty fast. Thank you, Sivir. Ulti on a 1. Olleh knows he's gonna die. He's gonna go ahead and just be meat for the grinder. Falls down 1-1 in Drakes. 8-4 in kills. TSM up 1.5K.
So something is happening this game that hasn't happened many times this year. TSM is the more coordinated team. They're playing more together. When the play has gone for solo, they're the ones that are able to back him up. And here, I think partially because of just how mobile they are on the map with Sivir ultimate combined with Bard tunnels, they're showing up in places where Golden Guardians doesn't expect them to be yet, and it's giving them a lot of picks and good kills.
It's looking pretty good right now. Kraken Slayer in on the way towards Phantom Dancer on this Sivir. Loves the attack beat stacking, loves the raw AD as well for Q damage. As Stixxay, of course, has not had the same ability to sit in lanes and farm, so a 2-level deficit for him. Chime is keeping up though overall.
Yeah.
And just a pretty good look right now is Maple gonna happily grab his blue buff, happily scale. Now he is a solid 30 CS down. Will point that, yes, Ablazeolive was out farming, but Maple has been out fighting.
Yeah, still not the strongest performance so far from Maple. He's going to need to do work in team fights. He is the sole magic damage carry for this team. So he's the one that keeps Golden Guardians honest. It's unlikely that any of them are going to be building magic resist. If they build a defensive item, it's likely going to be armor-based. So Maple is going to be very efficient with his items this game, based on the fact that they're solo AP.
Indeed. And speaking of AP, Ablazeolive is going for attack damage Corki. Now, no matter what you build, you are dealing magic damage. He has gone Gale Force. That even does magic damage. So it is auto attack marksman, right? Mana Muna, yes, of course. Again, Sork Shoes makes sense based on the fact that, hey, there are 80 ratios on your spells, and you do 80% magic damage on auto attack. So it's the correct boot choice, but he is going for a marksman style. It's Poppy Sejuani holding the front line, and then huge sustained damage out of the other three, right? With Gwen, auto attack Corki, and Senna putting out sustained damage into the front line from there.
Fairly similar ways both of these teams want to actually play out fights, because like Azir, Sivir also like long fights, and auto attack Corki plus Senna and frontline also like long fights. So there's a chance that TSM can snowball this one, since they will likely win the 5v5 team fights based on the current gold state.
Sidestep there by the Golden Guardians. Duo. Oh, that's a big stun. Spica gets away in time, though. Huge. Able to stay away. Thank you. Mercury treads. And I assume Legend to Nasty probably there as well. Gets away, flashes, stays alive.
Game of inches right there. Just a split second from getting chain stunned into the wall, but ends up actually getting flash for flash. So TSM able to hold this pressure. They're going to look, I believe, to hold the pressure in mid lane. And Solo is just straight up continuing to push in this bottom lane. But if they can keep both those lanes pushed, they're going to be able to just move back in a river when that dragon spawns, even though there are wards there right now for Golden Guardians. It's going to be so hard for them to retake that space. TSM making their resets now, about 50 seconds before dragon, to redeploy and take control of that river.
Divine Thunder, a force of nature. Solo going for tanky from here on out, itemizing, of course, towards the magic damage of the Gwen and the Corki that he'll be against in these fights. Turret goes down as the Azir turret disassembles, and I believe Licorice let that turret die to deny local gold. The Gnar had already recalled, so 250 gold off the map, but map pressure gained by TSM regardless. Gold League grows to 2,000. Next Drake in 10 seconds. This would be the second for either one. You can freely give this up. You're nowhere near solo. If your map position is bad, you can just play for something else.
Yeah, Maple made sure to push in top lane, then he base TP. That's what is fairly common for mid laners. Right now, Licorice is then catching. So even though Golden Guardians can move in, So Solo, I think, is actually in the right place. TSM is making a different call, though, to go elsewhere, and he might be caught.
They try to get him. Here he's got Mega Gnar available. When's he going to walk in for this one? Double stunned in it, too, but they know he's going to die for it. They're going to trade one back.
Oh, they killed Licorice.
Gwen got caught out. She walked to catch mid, I believe, and just got killed for it. So 1-for-1 in kills. Mid lane tier 2 will drop. And there could be a team fight as well, keep in mind, because it is a 4-on-4. Neither team has a top laner. Stun lands again, but Spica is not the target. You really can't get through him. His ulti was up in the first place, so now another cooldown missing.
Okay,
This could be a real engage. Is it gonna happen here?
The flanking bar!
Down the flash stun. It's gonna happen, but Chime will die. 1-for-1 jungle for support. And the bar portal goes the wrong way, so it's gonna be time to run. But will they catch Ablazeolive? Flash comes in, Slow's gonna land. Double root comes across, though Ablazeolive needs to get away. Maple flashes, Maple will kill, and it's gonna be TSM +1 in the fight.
The flanking Bard, very ambitious. It kind of worked. He did give away his bounty to Ablazeolive, which is the wrong person to have the kill, but TSM overall wins the gold game, but gives up the Drake. I think they were able to salvage what was a big lapse in miscommunication by coming in for that fight afterwards, because hopefully we get into the replay. They had the numbers advantage if they wanted to hold the river. But someone, either Maple, Spica, made the call to push mid and try and get that turret, which they did get. It's just Solo wasn't on board with that call. He was moving into river because he thought the team was going to be defending them, and he ends up getting caught out. But TSM gets the turret, gets multiple kills, and sacrifices the Drake.
Yeah, so they're already diving on in. It's like, all right, we're pinging, and yeah, he's on his way out. Licorice wants to hold this one, and Maple's like, no. I can get in melee range for this. This is what my character's about.
Barely catches him with the ultimate there. So I think that's a mistake from Licorice right there. They were getting the Drake and a kill, kind of an indefensible turret, but another fight.
Yeah, River barely stays alive. Speaking of the same, both junglers low, stopwatch, ooh, gets the stun, but Valkyrie's able to come through. And here comes a re-engage. Isn't enough though. Licorice, Ghost available, but does not find his way back into the fight, so no kills. Mid-tier 2 was already gone. And out we go.
Yeah, another trade of spells in the mid lane. Game in a really interesting spot right now, Phreak. Instinct is a little bit more online as Sivir, so the team fighting is getting stronger and stronger, even though they had to recover from that early game dive and multiple ganks from River.
3,600 the TSM, just better and better and better. I mean, after the first Herald take, it was a 1K lead, so, you know, in the 10 minutes, 13 minutes since then, it's just been all TSM. They've you know, earned 4,500 more than Golden Guardians have, and you know, split Drakes from that point on as well. So looking very, very good on the TSM side. And now they get to do the Baron setup. The wards are already down. There's no vision for Golden Guardians. They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea if Baron's being attacked right now.
Yeah, this is the way that TSM wants to accelerate the game. They can't win through Dragon Soul. They could actually just be doing the Baron.
Oh, they called
Golden Guardians making a bet that they're not, and they win that bet.
They win that bet. No mid lane turret kill though. Solo again to the front line. Mega Gnar available, throws the house, walks away. Ulti is up though. They can find a flash. Doesn't have it, but maybe a crunch engage. Licorice pushed back. Ghost still available. Ulti down. River could be a target. Has to burn his own flash to get away. Solo would have pinned him to the wall. That would have been a kill. Could be claimed, and they will find the first one. Chime will get this done. And they're going to get a little bit more as well. Here comes the rest of the dive. What's going to happen? Olleh holds the front for now, but he will drop. Senna ult is late. The TP now comes in to reinforce here as Gnar is back on the map. Another kill for TSM unanswered.
Okay, and it's time for them to reset the play. Now they've burned multiple spells and also killed Olleh. And if you look at the minimap, they still have full control of this area. Basically anywhere kind of inside this crest, Golden Guardians can't see. And if you look down here, they don't have any trinkets to check. So this is why TSM can go for Baron here. It's too dangerous for Golden Guardians to check.
An all-off Tempered Fate landing. That pick that gave them Baron. Tempered Fate from downtown. Chime lands it. And that's more and more for TSM. Looking for their fourth win now. They will tie with Golden Guardians if they secure the dub here in this one. And based on the way the last 8 minutes have gone, they are looking to secure this one for sure. Mid lane, they'll lose part of that wave as it crashes. But, I mean, Golden Guardians haven't found any fights they've wanted in a while.
Yeah, they absolutely, TSM absolutely has control in this game. It's a big responsibility for Olleh to be able to find the right engage. But even then, it's very difficult for them to get kills. I think part of this has actually just been how well Solo has managed the side lanes. You just compare him to the Gwen for most of this game, and Solo's always been the one who's able to move first. He's always been the one creating pressure on the map, and it's letting TSM be first to a lot of these plays, which they're then just moving faster, getting picks with Chime, and creating these positive plays. It's very important, though, in the next 2 minutes of this Baron power play that they make something happen, because Dragon Soul is so far away for them. They wouldn't get it until about 40 minutes if they end up pulling it off. So they need to break it in hip and really accelerate this game with this Baron buff.
All right, another new TSM roster. Might be 1-1 in this look. An improvement over what they had earlier on in the prior split.
Yeah.
As well as earlier on even in this one. And looking to kind of close this one out now. A nice little split push by Gwen, knocks down a single turret. Bounties not available, not down enough for that to matter. Golden Guardians are up the Drake technically. As we get the wave clear going yet again. Instinct chunked a little bit low, but the poke just not that strong from AD Corki, of course. A bit of damage coming across in, another Tempered Fate. This could be an easy scoop if they want to get more. Flash is forced out. Gnar is going to find one. Down goes Senna, and they're going to go for more. Double kill already, and it's going to be everything to do. They've got package. Ablazeolive wants in. Catch the bait, goes for solo. Flashes back, will not burn. 3 unanswered kills, and there's the scoop in for Maple. There's going to be the last one. Olleh will die. The Bud Light Ace and TSM have finally found a roster that works. They'll find their 4th win. They will end this week with a dub, knocking down Golden Guardians.
Moving into a tie with Golden Guardians at 4-9. And TSM did it this game. They generally were able to neutralize the early game dive. Solo created a lot of pressure, and then Maple could come online in the later game team fight. So that is definitely one of the more solid games TSM has played so far in the summer split. Solo coming in definitely looks good. 2 big performances from him. One yesterday against Bwipo, able to do work on Ornn. Today, doing great work on the Gnar against Licorice, pulling a ton of pressure that entire game. And TSM continues their trot towards playoffs.
Yep, right now, tied with Golden Guardians. Yeah, Chime and Stixxay spent time, of course, playing together. Chime and Olleh, of course, some coaching going on there as well. But TSM are now in 7th place. This is where they are. They are currently now in playoffs.
Yeah.
Half a game ahead of Immortals, game and a half ahead of Dignitas. And at this point, this is your competition, right? They are far away from top 6, sure, but a playoff spot is held onto. If you keep pace with Golden Guardians, you keep pace ahead of Immortals, you keep pace ahead of Dignitas, you're in the postseason, and if you keep improving, see how far you go.
Absolutely. 5 games left to continue to try and improve. It always feels good to go into the next week with a win.
Yeah.
Even if the first game was a loss, the second game being a win changes the entire energy. And one player you talked about a lot, I didn't talk about that much, was Chime. His Bard is the thing that sealed almost all of their kills in the team fight. Any other support in that slot doesn't do the same thing.
No.
So such a spectacular game from Chime. And again, all smiles for TSM.
No one else has 1200 range, untenocidable, uncleansable, engage, right? Like we saw Olleh. I'm gonna call him support because I mean he's basically that in this game. He was farming, sure, but like he would toss out those ults and he'd land. The X-Tier was there, and it's like I hit a Merc Treads Legend Tenacity Zhao.
Yeah.
By the time I walked into melee range, he was walking away already with a Sivir ult on him, and it's like, oh, you can't do anything. Cute. And here's Chime like, I got this one. And, you know, from half court, just like locks down 1, locks down 2, lands Q afterwards. Sometimes Zhao's there to knock it back. Sometimes Maple's there to scoop him in. Like, I feel like 90% of the team fights was like, Chime landed something awesome. And then they're like, good, we're ready.
Yeah, Bard ult actually has these really weird timings where if you're throwing a max range Bard ult, it actually like travels through the air, right? So the closer you are, the slightly faster.
Yeah.
And the timing of it is like, if you see it, oftentimes you can dodge it. So it really takes someone super experienced with Bard. I don't think I saw him throw an ult that didn't hit at least one.
I can remember maybe 2 that were sidestepped, that like there wasn't like a follow-up afterwards.
Or they got like a flash.
Yeah, but I do know of at least one that was like full sidestepped, that was like speculative, but it was like 80%.
It was really high.
80% of Bard ults probably hit an enemy champion in this fight. It was really, really good. Chime was awesome. So we were joining LeTigress and TSM's Chime for our Rise of Post-game interview, because that was a great game.
Welcome, everyone, to our interview. Got Chime, a TSM victory here on the day. We saw, though, coming into this week, there was going to be a roster change. It looks like it worked out pretty well in this game. Can you tell me about TSM's preparation for this?
Yeah, I mean, being on the team for 2 years, I knew some things about like the champs. Obviously, I don't want to give them Stixxay's best champ. And we just had, you know, a good strategy, and across the board, I think we played really well. So
Yeah, definitely. Diving into that a bit more, we saw so much early game action to make sure to suppress Licorice on the opposite side. Tell me about that, how that worked for you and what you had to focus on in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think specifically for bot lane, we kind of had like a good wake-up call yesterday. Like we were just like getting egoed basically out of lane, and so today I think we held our own and fought back, which was good. And then Spica just had some really good calls to focus the Gwen and look to pick her on sides, and we had some good prep from that too. So I just think like around the board it was good.
What has it been like developing your own voice on this team? Because I know since your time on Golden Guardians, you're talking about wanting to find your voice as a player.
Yeah, I think it's easier to like find your voice when you're with the same players for a long time or the same coaching staff, same environment. So like changing teams, I think I lost that a little bit for the first few weeks. Just like not knowing everyone, being in a new place, but I want to like find that again, and I think I have been slowly, just being more confident with the new people around me.
I know that everyone likes to poke fun, or not fun, but have fun with your name and things like that. You said that you were a Thresh main before. Do people ever kind of really lean into that when you get to play the Bard and things like that?
Like in competitive or solo queue?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just across the board. Yeah, and competitive with your teammates, or.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like a meme, you know, like Chime Bard. Like every player has their like one thing. So yeah, it's just like for fun.
I did learn something else about you though, that you had an audition for Survivor.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
I'm just like a big fan of the show, and yeah, I was going through university, and I was like, they opened it up to Canadians for the first time, and so I was like, oh, this would be so cool if I could, you know, be on the show. But I applied kind of like a boring application, just like, hey, I'm a university student, you know, I like video games. And then, yeah, they didn't accept me, so.
Can we find it anywhere? Is this something that we can visit?
It's on a PC that died, so.
Maybe a little extra investigation will work out there. Going into the rest of the regular season, though, TSM in a tight spot. I believe you're kind of in that 7th place right now. Need to be in top 8 for playoffs. What are you focusing on with the team to make sure that you stay focused?
I just think like having good, healthy habits outside of the game is important. And I think, you know, being 7th and 8th is important to make playoffs, but it's a hard run still, being like starting the lower bracket. So like obviously 6th and 5th is like the goal right now.
Healthy habits outside a game, like auditioning for reality shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congrats on the victory here today. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
More LCS to come, everyone, but it's always fun times here, including on the show players. If you haven't checked it out, things will get pretty heated in the final episode.
I'm surprised to see TSM leaving Thresh wide open. Cream is going to be wanting a comfort pick after that last game.
Ordinarily, in this situation, I'd pick Thresh. It's good for me. But also, I believe in Org. I need to believe in him 100%. And I want to pick something that's good for him. So I look at Organism and I say to him, I'm going to pick Yuumi.
And I look back and I'm like, what the f?
Locking in Yuumi.
Okay, let's do it. I remember thinking, Yuumi. Yuumi?
Red Bull gives you wings.